Hi, good evening. I'm just setting up. Uh, Hi, Ashok. Hi, Purna. Good evening. Can you all see my screen and can you hear me well, properly? Hi, Paul. Again, I'm just asking if you can hear me and if you can see my screen properly. I'm not getting any response back yet. All right. All right. Let me just activate the AI thing. Hi, Kulatis. Hi, Vaibhav. Hi, Raghu. Hi, Vijay. Hi, Nation. Hi, Ram. Good evening. Hi, Omar. All right, then we can get started. We are already 4 minutes late. So last week we had some crazy, crazy moves. Hopefully this week we have something better. So let's start from the inside day. Again, I'm looking into my watch list. ASML, AMGen, Chewy, HC. Not so great. ASML maybe something to look in. But outside of that, I may not be looking into anything else. Let's expand this to inside week. Distance of UNH and Baba. Baba is already doing good. Uh, so we can look into the Baba, definitely. Selch went to 35 and now back to 25. So we need to see. Ulta had really good earnings last time. So let's see if they can do the same thing this time. UNH had some bad news and it fell down and now it's kind of picking up. So it's on the list. Let's look at the monthly. Oracle MU is looking good. Oracle MU. Okay. So that's inside day. Let's look at some other scans. Anything which is crossing 12 and 34 on the daily in S&P 500. PMY. Nothing which I'm interested in. Like HP is there if somebody wants to try like Dell HP. They're doing good. So it's a scan where 12 or 34 are doing any crossovers. Then I'm looking at my DTM squeeze. I'm looking at all Nasdaq stocks where DMI is positive, EMA 12 leading 34. This scan is a little time consuming because it calculates few things on the fly. Let's see if comes a okay. So there is something which is positive in the Nasdaq. But I do not trade all these stocks. Maybe let's look into my watch list. So MA is something which is looking solid. MasterCard. I'll keep an eye on that. Let me try and do a negative one. Let me only search in my watch list. So here I'm looking at all the negative conditions, 34 leading 12, TTM squeeze on the downside, and DMI turning negative. Thank you guys for joining this Sunday night with me. I'm just going through a couple of scans just to see if anything is ready. And once I'm done, please share your tickers which you want to discuss. We can go through them. So let's start with ES for now. So this is my 15-minute time frame. I'm going to change that to 1 day. And so Friday, we saw some really good move, and my goal was like from 58.60. And why I said 58.60? Because this 58.60 has been a base multiple times. And this was kind of a fake breakdown. It This was like 58, maybe 48 something on Thursday. It broke down and then it reclaimed 48, 58.60. The moment it reclaimed, I was positive and I went into the SPY positions. And then I rode it until this area of 59.70. I closed right at the close on Friday. And now we have a doji which is in making. So again, we are at a position where the green ticks are there on the negative side. The TTM squeeze is telling us it's bearish in nature. The strength of the DMI is also telling us negative. The EMAs are also telling us negative. So for now, I am a little reluctant to go full-fledged long at this time. I think if we can reclaim this 6010, which is the 12 EMA, only then I'll consider this to be positive. Otherwise, I think we will see some tough resistance, uh, 58.90, 58.80 to 6010. This is going to be a tough area. I do not want to try long around this 59.60 because the opportunity on the higher side is limited. On the contrary, if I uh, wait for a down move, maybe like around this area, which let me just close this. This comes out to be 59.40, 59.50 area. If it comes around this area, like today low is also for 59.47, yes. If it comes around that area, I may try a long position. Sorry, I had some nice dinner, so a little sleepy. So this area, uh, 59.45 is a area to add, but the moment you lose 59.45, I will not try to be long on this position. Friday, we moved higher because we had some end of the month buying, and that buying actually took it higher. Plus, there was also MSCI rebalancing, which was happening. So that kind of pushed the last half an hour, 15 minutes move. So the trend is still negative. The bearish mode is there. So in this bearish mode, just remember one thing. Whenever the candles are far from the EMAs, they try to come back and test it. We have not tested them yet. We are coming close, but we have not tested them yet. So let these candles test the 12 EMA for once, like right here. This is the green line, which is the 12 EMA. Let them test it for once. If they do, that's the area I would try to make a meaningful long. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. We're going to face resistance. The three conditions which I posted also on Friday, this is utterly negative. This is on the daily time frame. This is negative. Uh, this is also negative. And this is also like 34 EMA is greater than 12. So this is also negative. So net 5945 is your support. If you want to try long here for 5990, 6010, I still think this 6010 is going to be a really, really good resistance. It is not going to be easy to clear this at this time. So let's see if we have a closing, or if you are aggressive trader on the short side, I think this is a good area to short. Short it with a stop loss of 5980 and look for 5945. The moment 5945 is gone, the lows of Friday and that 50-60 is most likely to be tested. So market is in bearish trend. Uh, yes, like again, you can see this big green candle, which was a buying on Friday. That happened because of all that uh, 13, $15 billion buy. So now it is sell on rise. Don't try to get trapped here. And yes, it is going to go higher from now. No, we need to see how this 5945 comes into the picture. So in simple terms, 5945 is your make or break for the long positions. If 5945 holds, try near to buy 5945, the long positions, maybe the calls, and look out for 5990 and 6010. Or short right here below 5945 or near 5990. Like today it came to 5985 something, right? That was a good area to short. You short it with 6000 stop loss, look for 5947, which it did, and then look for 5860. If we can have a daily close above 6010, then things will get really positive. Then we can look out that yes, now we have made the lows in the interim and we can go higher. But for now, 6010 is going to be a very tough resistance. It is the 12 EMA. Then let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq also, like Nasdaq, one thing which is really negative about Nasdaq for now is it's kind of making a M, if you can see. This M is that there. Friday, we got some serious support from this M. And other thing which I've told you is just to look out when the green line is near the candles. That means that yes, the trend of change of trend has happened. Right now, there's a massive gap. Like right here, this kind of overtakes, and right there, when it overtakes, the change of trend started. I don't think so that will happen immediately at this time. It has already lost almost 100 points. It was 21,000 something, and now 20,900. So again, be careful. The moment we lose this number, 20,500 roughly, which equates to 58,060, the bearish momentum will pick over. And Friday, we just tested and bounced, and there will be some back testing for sure. That is the area, then we can decide whether we are going to break down further or we're going to go and try and break the 22,000 threshold, which is a pain point for now. So all in all, for NQ, I would say on the daily time frame, the condition 34 EMA is leading the 12 EMA. So bearish in nature. The TTM squeezes negatively. There, it's bearish in nature. We need to see some buying with some strength. Friday also we saw the buying, but the buying was not solid. The buying was there all over the tickers. That's why it kind of pushed NQ higher. But net, it's around that resistance area of 21,060 to 21,300. So if you want to be really positive, either wait for 21,000 on the closing basis or buy near 20,600 or 750. Right now, it's not a position to buy. I will not be buying Nasdaq longs at this time. I'll be keeping 20,060 as my positive confirmation. If price goes above this, I'm being buyer for 21,350, which is a back test of 12 EMA. Again, not a higher possibility trade, but only if it closes above this. Or if it comes around this 21,000, 2025, short it, keep the stop loss, look out for 20,900, 20,750. Here, if you want to try long, you can, but not at this time, 20,925. No. So that is about the index, and people are really, really happy that Bitcoin got added into that reserve. Yes, it will have some push into Mr. into coin, but keep an eye, those options or those stocks are already opening really high. Don't get trapped. Try to add spreads so that even if the option premium goes higher, the spreads try to offset those premium kills which may happen. So be very careful around that. All right, so let's go to the tickers one by one. Let's go to the Apple. So Apple has been testing this 234, 235. The Apple W, which we talked about last week, failed, and it failed right there where it came. It came and tested this right. It was trying to make a M pattern, but somehow it managed to close right into the zone. It like there was a good $8 move on Apple, and that was one of the reasons the index got higher. Apple and Microsoft both got 1% move higher. So in this situation, I am little hesitant to try any position on Apple because it failed that W. Uh, Either it needs to hold this 239. If it doesn't, short it for 235. Or if you want to be really aggressive, I would say short with this closing price and look out for 235 this week. Very highly likely possibility we may see 235 by the end of this week on Apple. I'm not going to run higher on Apple unless we have a closing about 247, because this is the area where all this price got tied. It tried, but failed. So 247 is the area where it will find the resistance one more time. So be ready if it clears 247 on the closing basis. Otherwise, short it. Apple, then we have, I think Adobe is doing a very good consolidation in this zone for the last few months. You can clearly see on the TTM squeeze as well. It's firing a little bit negative for now, but this is an area where it has tried to find the base. And with CRM, even if the numbers were bad, CRM stock did not went down. The guidance was bad, it did not went down. So right now, I think it's kind of setting up for a move. Like you can see, there's a doji which is there. It went to almost how much high? 465, and then from 465 to 438. So it is setting up for a move. Yes, the DMAs, EMAs are telling us it's still negative. That's why it's need to hold this 437 area. If it does, then an evening morning star is setting up, and which will have a confirmation about 445. So keep an eye on Adobe. It has earnings in 2 weeks, not this week, next week. The cheaper you get it, the better it would be. AMD. So AMD, as we discussed last time, every time it tries to test EMAs, it fails and fails and further fails. So it is now below 100 and it's a weekly close. So if you look at the weekly candle, like you can clearly see the picture, it's not showing any signs of strength whatsoever. Now, the only piece of importance is right here. This is the area where it found the support on the weekly basis, and we are closed right around that corner. So if you want to keep the stop loss at Friday's low, there may be some perseverance shown by AMD and it may try to bounce. It is really, really oversold at this time. So possibility to test 110, 117 is really high. But again, AMD has been on a back benches mode. It's showing a dodgy, but and you can clearly see 171 to one less than 100 in a straight line down move. And it was a W failed, right? So this is something extremely, extremely negative for now. The negative momentum is really high. The TTM squeeze is negatively there, but I think there is some hope left if we hold 98.99 as the stop loss on AMD. If we do, possibility of 107, 110, 117 is there. If it goes below 98, avoid this. AVGO, uh, AVGO have earnings this week. AVGO is trying to fill, like last time they had earnings and it moved massive back to back. This time we have to see with NVIDIA's numbers out of the way whether AVGO is going to replicate the same or it's going to fill the gap which was created at 184, 183. So be careful on going long. It is showing negative and there was some massive selling in AVGO. Everything is pointing bearish at this time. Uh, and let me also look at AVGO's flow if we have for this week. Let me go and check. AVGO. So this is 228, which is Friday. We don't need that. Let me filter this. Anything above $500,000. Okay, so there is a 5,000 lot trade for the year ending in 2025. Somebody sold 8.8 calls of 290. So this is a bearish trade for sure, 290 and 310. And expecting it's not going to happen and at least eat $1 million without doing anything. 170 calls were kind of exited and there were dark pools around 199, 193. There's a put of 170, 195, and there's a call sold for 195 also. This is interesting. So net, this is showing a downside flavor to me on AVGO. So let's see if it comes to 206, I may try to buy one put. But I'm not doing any ER as such, so I will maybe watch. But a gap fill possibility is really high on AMG. Amazon, I am liking this around. And as I have told you, whenever the green line is kind of matching the bars, I think it's the change of the trend. It did not made a new low on Friday when the market made the new low. So any dip to this area, 210 to 11, I'll be a buyer. And uh, I think it has filled this gap of 210 to 7. It has filled this gap as well, this gap. So now this line, which is the long-term trend line for Amazon, it has kind of reclaimed it back. So if we hold this line, let's see what's the value of this line. Let me just come here. So this is 210 to 11. So roughly 210 is your stop loss. If it comes around 210, I would love to buy Amazon at this price. Friday I tried, it did not move as expected when I was looking for it, but later on it did and did some really good move. The calls which we added at 340 went up on to 5, but I got out at the same price. But instead I went into SPY. So Amazon looks good at 210. 210 it loses, I will not do any trade on Amazon. Uh, then we have Baba. Baba, I think is really positive. Baba has uh, potential of 133, 134. See, it was far away from the EMAs. It almost came back and tested this EMA 128, 129. And now it is trying to break over 133. So if you see in the past few years, this Baba has been right there. There was some massive gaps, like 139. If I extend to the right, 139 has been a pain point. Once we clear 139, 140 area, I'm going to extend all the Fibonacci's. Now you will see a plethora of Fibonacci's right here. So 138, 139. If we can have a daily close above this line, I think we are going to be really, really happy at. I'm just going to clear all this numbers. Yeah, 133. And you can clearly see 105, it was struggling, which was a Fibonacci of 100%. 114, it did. Now it is clearing everything. I think I have said it time and again, this is the year of China. Do not need to fight it. Every dip it comes, try to buy this. Baidu has been on the backbencher, but sooner than later, Baidu is also going to move substantially. But with Baba, 134 is your stop loss. Look for 140 on Baba. Baidu. Baidu is really, really lagging. But it has come to a point 84, 85 area where I think it's better to buy Baidu. And it's kind of making inverted head and shoulders. If you see clearly this, it went up, came down, went up, came down. So now it should go up. And the moment it clears this 99, 98 area, it's going to boom all the way to 113. So the risk is very limited here at Baidu at 85. 85 is your stop loss on Baidu, and you can try long in Baidu 400 with inverted head and shoulder patterns. BA has been like inside day, inside week. It's looking bearish, and with Trump's pushing negative sentiments on the BA, I think if it's not able to clear 176, 177, it may go down one more time to 171, 172. Not a big move, but there's small possibility that yes, it may come down to 170, 171. So I would say avoid BA for now. Then I think we have crowd earnings and CRM. So let's look at CRM. CRM is holding this. Even after the bad guidance, the bad thing, the momentum is negative and everything looks negative on CRM. I think at this time, it's also an inside day. If it comes to 303, 304, I will short it or I will short it below 291. If it breaks below 291 is an area you can see in the past, it has done a very good consolidation. And right now it is testing it. And that's why there's a good support. The moment we lose 291 on CRM, we will see 274 in a straight line. Okay, so be very cautious on CRM or sell it around 310, 7 area. Then we have crowd. Crowd has been a good trade because we have seen a good consolidation around 360s, 370s area, and then we saw a massive breakout. So I think right here you can clearly see they were squeeze, which is the red dot, and it started to break out and it went right there. So it went right there in straight line. Now it is telling me to exit, 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 and short. So 379 is an area where I would love to see and check whether crowd can hold or not. Right now it's around 390 area. The 34 EMA is 399 and the 12 EMA is around 407. If we have earnings before, if we can reach 407, I think we have an upside. If not, I think 358 will be an extremely good area to add crowd above 407 or 358. So in this case, if you want to try a strategy called Iron Condor, it's called credit spreads on the both sides. So you can sell a call of maybe 410, buy a call of 420. Here, sell a put of 360, buy a put of 350. If you do this two trades together, this is called as Iron Condor. Now I expect it to remain in this zone 407 to 358. So whatever premium you are going to get here, it will be yours. So I think crowd is going to be a little tight in this zone. But if it breaks above 407, then try a long position on crowd. And I'm going to read your comments once I'm there. But right now you can see the Bitcoin is already losing like 3,000 of the high points. So be very, very careful. Costco and Coin. Costco also has earnings this week. Costco is telling me to take out the longs. With respect to Walmart, I think Costco should also struggle this time. And with earnings, Costco, I like it doesn't move that much. It moves right after the earnings. So I would say at this time, uh, I would actually wait on Costco. If it comes to 1040, 1040, I may try a long position. Or if it goes below 1013, that's where I'm gonna be a seller. But I'm not gonna trade ER because it doesn't move on the ER. Maybe 1 to 3% here, and the option premium is so high on this that you can also do an iron condor here on Costco. Uh, if they do a split, that will be a really big booster for the stock. Uh, I think they may do it. That's the only thing which can push it higher, and we'll see. But it needs to have a big catalyst to break out. From an earning point of view, I think the earnings are baked in at this time, and I will not try long unless there is a split on Costco. Then coin. The coin is trying to break out. It's trying to do a back test of the 12 EMA 237. There will be a massive gap. 237 must hold. If it doesn't, then there is no point in trying long position in coin. So 237 must hold. If it goes below 237, do not try long positions. You will only lose your premium. So be careful on coin at 237. If it clears 237, 259 is possible. Then we have Google. Google, I'm waiting for 160s. If it comes, it's like below all the trend line is down. The EMAs are down. It's right there at the top. this green line. 163 is something really, really interesting. Uh, and let's see in the last how many years it. So in this 1 to 3 candles, it has tested this last line and went up. So in the last, I would say, almost 2 years, almost 2 years, it has only tested this line once. So this is going to be very, very important line for Google. So the close 168. If you want to try long, 168 is your stop loss. If it fails here, it's gonna be massive failure of Google. This is the first time in the last 2 years it is testing this regression line, which means it is progressively on the negative side. So be very careful, uh, or there may be a very big chance of reversal and do a back test of 185. But at this time, 168 should be your stop loss for all longs, long term, short term, everywhere. 168 is your stop loss. Meta. Meta has been like it went higher. Now it's kind of consolidating below the 12 and 34 EMA. I think the 34 EMA is 672 and 12 EMA is 682. If it does not clear 682, which is like roughly this dark red line, if it doesn't, I think it will go back. It has run a lot in the last 1 to 2 years from almost 2 digits to almost 750. So I think there is going to be some cool off period in Meta. Uh, and Meta has already shown that yes, they're going to invest too much. So if you see Meta has been consistently in this channel, now this is the first time they are trying to come, and this black dark red line is the main trend line. It's kind of losing the spark here. Every time it's there, it finds the support and there are earnings which follow it up. But this time, I think there is some open areas for Meta. It can go back and test that. So 682 is your stop loss. If it comes higher, short it. Microsoft has been a really, really pain point, and it has come to a point like 450 to 386 last time. And I think I did this on Webster's Teenage show, that this 386, the 386, and there was a 386 in the past. This 386 area had provided support. Friday it did as well. And now if it holds this 397 area, there may be a possibility to retest the 12 EMA as well as to retest the 34 EMA. So if market has to go higher, it needs to find the right tickers. So first important one is Microsoft. It has been the weakest of every link at this time. And 405, 405 roughly is your 12 EMA, 40570 is your 12 EMA. It needs to clear that, otherwise it's going to go down. And on a longer term, it moved up with Nvidia, and with Nvidia going weaker, I think it is going to be a tough spot for Microsoft to hold this. It's the cliff right now is on the neckline. I will be very careful on trying long positions on Microsoft. 397 is kind of my neckline. So I'm not going to try long positions around 397. Let it clear 405. We may try long position, but 397 I am not. So Google is weak, Apple is possibly weak, Meta is possibly weak, Microsoft is weak. So all this is, it gives me a idea that yes, Nasdaq can be weaker. So the idea of coming down to 20,500 is very much feasible. Netflix, uh, Netflix chart is almost similar to Meta. It has a very big gap, and Netflix has a habit of holding those gaps. So let's see if it comes to 940. You can try a long position, not here, not at all. Uh, Maybe overnight if Netflix series or something get a Oscar, it may be a boost. But right now, 955 is a very good area to add. And if you want to short below 970. If it goes below 970, short it and look for 955, and then look for 915 and fill the gap. It has to fill the gap pretty soon. There was one more ticker, MU. MU, like they have earnings in the third week of March, but MU has been into a very tight consolidation. If you see a period of almost 4 months here, like this is 5 months into 7 months, 7 to 8 months. By the time March will be there, it's almost 8 months. It is in this zone of 83 to 110. So the closer it is to 83, 84, you should be a buyer. The closer it is to 110, you should be a seller. Right now, it's a consolidating zone, and I think it will break out like Intel did. So instead of Nvidia, try and trade MU. MU is much better. Then Microsoft, Nvidia. Nvidia has to hold that 116. Friday it came to 115, 116, and they were option writers which were selling the calls of selling the puts of 115 for this week, and they were successful. Now 123 is going to be it's going to be in the same repeated cycle, 115 to 132. If you see a close of 142, then it's a real positive for Nvidia. Or if you see a weekly close between 115, it's going to be negative. In between, you can trade the range, buy near 115, 116, sell near 128, 130. In between, it's going to be a tough trade on Nvidia. Oracle, I think Oracle last time in the earnings did really well and then went up to 198 and then came down. So Oracle has come down from 198 to 160s. So there's a gap and there's a planned earning for Oracles. So look for 159 or 160 roughly. If it holds 160, then it is fine to try a long position if it loses 160, which is about $6. And for Oracle, these days it's moving like $5, $6. Right now, I do not see anything positive on it. But if comes around 160, I would take a chance on the longer side so that it can go and test 170, 171. So Oracle is something which is really, really interesting. Then my last ticker is Tesla. Uh, Tesla is still holding that gap of like this was the candle. And let me cut some regression lines. This is fine. So this is the election result 11/6. It was trading at 240, 255, opened at 284, and then went on to make uh, 289. That 275 gap, Friday, it kind of breached into it and then came down. I think it is going to continue. Tesla is going to face some stiff resistance. Let it come to 306. You should buy puts around that 306. I will not be going long on Tesla unless we have a close above 323. 275 is an area of the gap. So if it comes this time, it's going to fill that gap from 240.55. So Most likely the momentum is negative on Tesla, everything is negative. So if it comes to 306 in a push, I would be selling this. Wow, we have almost 150 people today. That's really good. Never seen that many people in my life. All right, snow, I think is if something has to move higher uh, in cloud stocks, I think snow is doing good. 177, 178. If we can have a close above this or open above this, I think it has potential to go higher to 200s. Snow. All right, so let me read your comments. Anybody who wants to come and join my Zoom, I'm gonna share the link and you can come over and talk to me live. So I'm pasting that in the chat in between. Let me read your comments and then you can join in. The Google we did, Costco we did, WAT. I don't know what is that, WAT. WAT is Waters Corporation. I have no idea what this company does. But this is doing a consolidation and similar consolidation was happened in the past in the year December and January, and then it moved higher. Right now, it is consolidating below. So there is a possibility that it may face the downside move. There is a big gap to fill. So be very careful at this time. It's consolidating and may get a breakdown on WAT. And guys who are on the call, please, if you have a question, raise your hand and then do not type chat. Raise your hand and speak one by one. MDB. MDB, I really like this chart. It's consolidating and near the bottom of the, like, if you can see, it's right there at the bottom of consolidation range from 500 all the way to 200. That's like 50% cut. So if it holds this area, there's a very likely possibility it may try to go 300 and higher. There are few gaps to fill on the higher side. And if it loses like 230s, you can clearly see there's a good consolidation happened here. Good consolidation happened here. So 238, if it comes before the earnings, I think I would love to go long into MDP around that area. Target,
Can you take Paramount or Laboticus, please?
you have a position in that.
Yes, please.
See,
Holding Paramount from almost 2.5 years now.
Paramount is consolidating, consolidating, and consolidating. And as of now, it's not showing me anything I would say bad, but I do not see any catalyst. If there's no catalyst, it may not move, may move to maybe 12, 12 and a half, and that's it. So Paramount is not so great. Now, if you
Uh,
said
Oracle's founder son is planning to acquire that. Do you think that could be a catalyst for it?
acquire is always a burden on the company. It's not a catalyst unless it increases their what you call revenue substantially, which I don't think so. Biotech bulls, uh, like people are very, very optimistic about biotech this year, but I've not seen any such thing happening. Uh, Friday, they saw, because it was almost at 52 weeks low, they saw some bounce, but everything is seriously negative about Labu at this time. Again, I would refrain to see for it to be positive, you need to have a close above 91. That's the price.
Yeah,
And
holding this from Jan 2022 onwards.
yes, so it's not going to move unless you see 91, 92. That's why I always recommend people not to deviate, not to rush for quick money, always invest in S&P. It will run, even if it falls down, it will run. All these indexes will not move, but S&P will move.
When you say S&P, just buy, I mean,
Buy,
it's
buy the
SPY,
time. Yes, that's it.
like SPY stock.
Yes.
Okay,
And if you do not know about SPY, then I'm like really, really concerned you why you are investing. See, just simple example. SPY is down about 6 to 7%. All the other stocks are down 8 to 12, 15%. SPY will not go. SPY will 10 years from now will be right now 600, maybe 1000 by the end of 2030. But all these stocks may not be there. They may replaced. That's why there's a rebalancing happening every quarter. The weaker stocks are getting out, the stronger stocks are coming in.
okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Can you take
uh,
CRISPR as well, another ticker?
huh?
CRSP.
Yeah, I do not do those stickers. I only do like big 500, not even
Okay,
500, Nasdaq 100 stocks.
okay. Thank you.
And you should like, as a lesson, you should do this research before investing, not after investing.
Okay.
Target, I am liking Target. Target is doing a bullish engulfing. I need a push on the target. Uh, maybe I think it needs to bounce towards 134, 135. Last few earnings, again, if you want to trade earnings, it's going to be difficult to trade, but it has broken down multiple times on the earnings in the last few quarters. So this earnings may be earnings where I would love to see a push higher. So 124, 125 is my stop loss, and I'm going to long on target.
Yeah, they have earning on fourth.
Yes, they have earnings, yes. Adobe I've covered.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Pari, I think I know we talked about MSFT last week too. I mean, before this minor crash, mini crash, whatever happened, right? And it was in the range of 416, 17, and you mentioned if it clears 418, it can push to 426 or something.
But it failed
Uh,
at 418, right? It never
yeah,
cleared.
yeah, it touched one 419 on Thursday or Friday, I think last last to last Thursday, and not this Thursday, last Thursday. So after that, it started going down. I know. I mean, I'm not asking in a way you think I'm asking some financial advice. I know I have a big position on the calls. I should have sold it, but I think I kept it, and the market just went, you know, way low. So it is like 3 weeks away now from my position. Like I have 430. I had 430 calls I bought in like January when it went to around 410, like after the earnings, right? Because it was moving into that range from last few months, like coming to that, going to 440 or something. Uh, so if market stays bullish, do you think it can go towards 420? Maybe even if I can break even, uh,
See,
I
right now, the market sentiment is not that great.
yeah, yeah,
So every sell will be a rise. So Microsoft, as I said, 405 is an area where it needs to clear to show any sense of recovery. Otherwise, if you see on the longer term chart, this is
mhm,
going to be a really serious level, 386. The moment you lose it, there is nothing. There's no support. It's going to go down straight. And it's a consolidation where it attempted two times to break out. This is the first time it is breaking down from this consolidation. If it sustains, it's going to come down all the way to 320.
oh, wow,
Very high possibility. But if it clears 405 and comes back and clears 414, this probability is offset for now. See, NVIDIA created that AI theme, right? And Microsoft was the big beneficiary in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It had really bad numbers at 240 and it went on to came to 320 because saying AI. I'm myself a Azure user on the AI. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to create any creativity using AI on my work.
Okay.
And I think Amazon is going to offer the same things on the AI as well. They have their own chips. So the pricing power which Microsoft had,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of going on the backseat.
All right.
So I think it's a little tough to clear
Yeah. Okay.
420, 430 at this time. Because if it
Like
had
in next.
cleared 418, I would have been very, very confident it will clear. Because then it would have absorbed everything. But right now it's not showing there any sign whatsoever.
Yeah. And it kind of moves slow too, like very slow.
See, the only problem with options is it's gonna kill the premiums.
Yeah.
And that may not be a good situation. So it's better to look out for another opportunity than struggling with one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the AMD too also you mentioned, right? It's
AMD is
I
like
mean,
98 as your last point. If AMD leave below 98, it's done.
so when you say done, like done for a while, I mean,
Done
so
meaning
is
that there is no point trading in it or investing in it.
so if I already have a position, then we should just keep it then. I mean,
See, again, that depends on what's your time horizon and can
uh
you add more at a lower price. Or if you have
okay.
options, then options is a big no. But if you have stocks, then what is your time horizon? Can you invest more or not? So that
Yeah, I
all
don't.
come to picture.
Yeah, I had options actually. I sold those on loss, but I know like I'm also a member with Hipster community, so I know like when this AMD always like disappoints right for a while after that October earning. So
The
he
AMD
mentioned
needs
one
to
time,
show something in the market that yes, it
yeah,
has a grip on the AI thing. Otherwise, it's losing market. Intel is going to come back. Intel has become with their foundries of wafers and everything. I think it will be bought, and all the money which was supposed to be the money going to AMD for the data centers, processors, and
mhm,
everything will go to Intel.
yeah, okay, because he mentioned one time like 100 level would be a good investment for a little longer term.
That's what I'm saying. 98 is your last. Like if you're adding at 100, you need to keep a stop loss. 98, the risk reward is right there. 98 is a good risk reward. You may see
Okay,
10%, 15% very quickly.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
All right. So again, like I do not do these momentum stock, ASTS and this and that. Please, I refrain people. I have seen people burn to ashes with all these stocks. I do not trade them and do not recommend them. If you cannot trade them on the screen, do not trade them. You have to be on the screen to trade all these things. MDT, uh, MDT is looking to break out, I think. It's inverted head and shoulders. Let it clear 93, but do not expect very big moves. Maybe like 95, 96 on MDT. FTTD. TTD had really bad earnings and it's kind of consolidation in this zone. I think it will require more consolidation, maybe 1 quarter. I don't think so. It's going to move very quickly on the higher side. It will do consolidation, maybe $3, $4 up and down, up and down, up and down. So not a tradable recommendation. FTX. FTX was supposed to do good with their earnings and the strategy to split the company, but it failed and now it's like at a very important area 261. I would keep 261 as my stop loss or 260 as my stop loss and try long on FTX. In this bad market, FTX may provide a support. Like FTX, John Deere, LMT, Caterpillar, they may provide some good support. I don't know why you buy all these companies, PFE and this and that. These companies do not run, and you are like, you can see in the last 2 years, it has not run. It's not going to run again. It's going to just be in this range. There's nothing set up for a Pfizer. It just moved in COVID. It doesn't going to move after that. That's very clear. Unless it builds something very, very niche, which is required by the market. Again, I'm repeating myself. I do not want to be irritating voice, but if you are trying to trade high volume, high volatile stocks, you will only end up in losses. You may see gains in one day. The moment you are out of the screens, you are going to lose on these tickers. I've seen this happening multiple times, at least 100, 200 times over the last 25 years. So if you are in any of these high flying tickers, you are responsible for your loss. It is not meant for investment. It is only tradable momentum. You trade, you ride, and you get out. That's it. If you hold, you will remain held with these positions throughout your life. All right, guys, I am just picking up last one ticker, UPS and PanW. After that, I have to close this. I have to office. UPS is also struggling business right now. With FTX, I think it may try to do a breakout, but it's tough for FTX and UPX. It needs something like on the positive side to push them. Maybe some contract, something like that. Otherwise, maybe USPS is sold to these two and they may move higher. Something needs to line up so that it can move higher. PanW
Okay.
is going to be struggling with crowd results. Uh, it came to 186, 187 during the earnings and then bounced to 200 and then came back into this zone. Uh, it's a little tough for PanW for now. Uh, I think it needs to clear 193 to show some strength. Otherwise, it's going to be a sell on rise. All right. Anyone saying something?
Mara, any idea on Mara?
Yeah. Again, Mara
M
quite.
MA.
Again, these are very momentum stocks. Mara had really good numbers this time. Uh, if it holds 14 and a half, right now is showing 16, which is almost like most likely you're carrying options and you're thinking where would it open tomorrow, right?
No, I have I have truckload of stocks which I bought very high. Like I have around like 1,500 of them. I bought it like average like 24.80. So I don't know whether I need to average it or it's this. I mean,
Average, I do not know about that, but it needs to clear. As I said, Bitcoin, I don't think so. It's going to be really, really big money as soon as you think. Bitcoin
um,
has just moved up on the
mhm.
expectations just now by Trump. Otherwise, it was losing, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true. I'm planning to hold like maybe a year or two. So is it a good to hold or like better exit
I'll
with my?
give you my example. I'll
Okay.
give you my example.
Mhm.
I bought almost 4,000 stocks of Reliance Communication in India in 2008 at
Mhm.
500 on average.
Okay.
I held, and it got delisted.
Oh.
I also had a company called Congeloid, 10,000 stocks at 245.
Uh-huh.
I averaged until it was 50,
Uh-huh.
and now it's 3 rupees.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
So it doesn't mean holding will do anything good.
Mhm.
Only 1 in 1,000 stock can go up and give you that kind of recovery. That's why I've always said I've learned from all my mistakes. Invest in the SPY or Nifty index. Both will
Oh,
be higher in the longer term.
okay.
Simple.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you. I'll
But very quick question. Last, I think I joined late today. So, did you talk about the market, like the indexes, like
yes, right
after
in
the
the beginning.
sell?
You can watch on the YouTube. Early.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay. So after the sell-off, do we see? I know the Friday, maybe end of the day was like maybe rebalancing.
Yes, I
Uh,
covered all that.
okay, okay.
You can watch initial 5-10 minutes. You will have the idea.
All right. Okay, sure. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining and have a good night. Bye bye.